Well, hello. My name is Jonathan Rudnick. You know you are in the right place if you are looking for the 2022 Employee Benefits webinar for Central and Northern California. Now, you wouldn't believe me if I told you that I've done these meetings a couple times just to try and get them perfect and to get you a really good overview so that you don't fall asleep on me while I'm going through some of the benefits this year. So hopefully stick with me. We're going to have a good time. And I hope that I will be able to give you some guidance in the form of this webinar for what's going to happen for January 1, 2022. So without further ado, let's get into this webinar really quick. This is your standard, table of contents. I mean, that's just letting you know that we're going to go over the medical plans, the dental, the vision, the life insurance, short and long-term disability, hospital indemnity, accident, and critical illness. This benefit guide that you're looking at, it's been modified for this particular webinar. So you should have the full benefits guide. If for some reason you didn't receive one, definitely reach out to us. Once again, if you missed it, my name is Jonathan Rudnick, and I am going to be the tour guide. I am also one of your insurance brokers. You may have actually talked to me before. I'm not famous, so don't worry about it. If you saw me on the street, I would look like your normal insurance broker. But that is not important. So what we are going to do is get into this meeting, and I'm going to let you know what is new for 2022. The HSA account limits for 2022 are $3,650, right, for an individual, or $7,300 for a family. Another new thing that's very interesting is when we are going to talk about the UHC PPO dental plan, you're going to notice that there is a rollover benefit for the PPO dental plan that is going to help you out for 2023. Another thing that's very interesting is the generic prescription coverage is going down in cost. Generic prescriptions, or what they call tier 1 prescriptions, will be a $10 copay. Something that is not new, but just making sure that everybody knows that they need to make their changes through the little link that we've sent them, or you can also use the link in your benefits guide. It is a special site for ALP, and that is where you go ahead and make all your changes through that and in connection with the e-site. The good news is that if you've used this before, all your data is safe and secure in there, and hopefully you won't have to fill out your address or anything like that unless some of those items have changed. One point of confusion before I get into everything else. Qualifying life events. Of course, after we get done with open enrollment and all your plans go into effect for January 1, 2022, if you get married or have a child, or if your spouse loses their coverage, right, they can definitely come on to your plan. However, that is very different from open enrollment, right, where you get to choose to make changes to your plan. So when you do a qualifying life event, that person or child actually comes onto the plan that you've already picked. So this is your one and only time to make those changes. So take it very seriously. And as I go through this, I'll explain why I feel like it's so important. I wish you could ask some questions, but it is just me on this meeting to kind of flow through and get you out of here in about 20-something minutes. All right, so what you see on your screen here, and I'm going to go and pump this up a little bit. You should see the traditional PPO and the HSA side by side. Now, even though both of these plans are actually PPOs, they are dynamically different. And that's important because you want to know how to utilize your coverage this year. And it's possible maybe you have a surgery, maybe you're going to have a baby. Things are always going to be a little bit different from year to year, especially after coming in and out of this pandemic. I'm not even sure if this pandemic is over yet. You know what I'm saying? So take a look at these two plans and decide what might be the better fit if you're looking at the PPO options for this year. The traditional PPO and the HSA use the same provider network, so it is the same doctors on either plan. UHC's online provider finder is one of the easiest ones to navigate, so if you need some help, just definitely reach out to us, but it is easier than many other carriers. And I do have less issues trying to find providers in their networks than I do with other carriers that I work with. The traditional PPO has $1,000 in network for an individual, whereas the HSA has a $2,000 in network deductible, right? The out of pocket, remember, this is not a deductible, this is out of pocket, right? Is $5,000 in network for an individual under the traditional and $4,000 in network under the HSA. So, what is really going on? Why are these so different? They're not the same type of plan. There is HSA in the name for a reason. So, the traditional PPO that's right here is traditional because it gives you first dollar benefits, right? It is a $35 copay for office visits when you go in network, and diagnostic labs are a $10 copay, right? So, what you want to keep in mind, right, is if you need first dollar benefits for this, and even for prescriptions, which are 10, 35, and 70, this is the plan for you. The HSA is a little bit different, and it has to be designed this way because the IRS is indicating that in order for you to have an HSA account, a health savings account, to go along with the HSA, right, the benefits cannot be first dollar. And what that means is you will notice that most of these items are 20% after the deductible, right? Even for office visits, even for lab, even your prescriptions, right, are after the deductible, right? So keep that in mind when you're choosing a plan so you don't end up choosing a plan that does not work for you. I do not believe that either one of these options is a lesser plan, but the reason why we have so many options for ALP is so that you do not have to choose what your coworker chooses. So there are enough plan options here to meet everybody's need. Remember that if you choose this HSA and not the traditional PPO, you can contribute money to an HSA account. And we already told you earlier, the maximum is $3,650, right, for an individual, right, and $7,300 for a family. Outpatient surgery is different on both plans, and inpatient surgery, which also includes maternity, right, on the traditional plan, it is a $100 copay plus 20% after the deductible, and it is just 20% after the deductible under the HSA. All right. So we also have a couple other options that you can look at here. If you do not like the options that are the PPO and maybe you want to be in an HMO system, let me make this a little bit bigger for you. All right. We have two different networks that are going on here. Let me see if the other plan shows up. No, it is right here. All right, they're both here. Both of the plans are here. We have two different networks that you can buy into. We have two different plans that you can buy into. There's the $1,500 deductible signature value plan, right? And there is the United Healthcare signature value plan with $0 deductible. So why would you choose one plan or the other? Well, it's not just the deductible. There are different ways that each of these plans work, and depending on what you are actually doing for the year, this could make a difference to you, right? Especially if you have to bring dependents onto the plan. So under the left-hand side of the screen, there's a $1,500 deductible that you have to meet for certain things, like hospitalization or inpatient surgery. That would include, maternity, because you are inpatient when you are having a baby. But there are other items like going to see the doctor where it is only a $25 copay for your primary care doctor or a $40 office visit to see a specialist. Labs are $10 and x-rays are $25. MRIs are $100. Now, the prescriptions under this plan are not subject to the deductible either, so they are either 10, 35, or 70. But if you feel that you would like an upgraded option this year, right, it is a $0 deductible under this plan to the far right, and it is definitely a higher level plan. It is $30 to see the doctor, and it is $40 to see a specialist. But labs and x-rays, you do not pay for under this plan, right? You can see a $0 copay. An MRI under this plan is the same, $100 copay, and prescriptions are the same. Now, when it comes to talking about being hospitalized or outpatient surgery, once again, this plan is much better. If you were going to have a baby and you were in the hospital for 2 days it would be $1,000 under this plan. And if you're there for 3 or 4 days, you would only pay for the first 3 days, which would be $1,500, and the insurance company would cover the rest. Outpatient surgery is a flat $250 copay. So that is why these plans are dramatically different. Same network though, same provider network for both of these. So what about dental? All right, dental under the UHC, right? You have two different options. I'm actually going to reduce this a little bit. All right, so you can see everything on one page. The HMO dental plan, right, runs kind of similar to an HMO medical plan. It has tons of copays. All of those copays are listed in the portal. So that's the reason why it says see copay schedule here, because there is actually a dental code and a copay that corresponds for the most routine things that you're going to get done throughout a year. And so whether it's a filling, a root canal, a crown, there will be copays inside the portal for you to look at. Now, the thing that's interesting about the HMO dental plan is it has no maximum. You can get 7 crowns, you can get 7 root canals. It never stops working, right? There is no deductible on that plan for either you or your family. It also has a really awesome child orthodontic benefit that is $1,000 copay, which is almost unheard of. I have never seen it this low with any other employer that I work with. But this is going to be very different from the PPO dental plan. The PPO dental plan has a lot of things that are very different. It does have a maximum limit per person of $2,000. So each person in the plan gets $2,000 to spend on dental. Consider that kind of your bucket of money. It also has a deductible that you have to meet when we are talking about basic or major services. That does not apply to in-network preventative care. And so whether we're talking about the HMO or the PPO, you're still going to get 2 cleanings a year, right? And on the PPO, the deductible is going to be waived as well for x-rays. They usually do a set of x-rays, once a year. Now, let's look at it this way. If I get 2 cleanings a year and each one of those is worth $100 a piece, right? That's $200. That $200 is subtracted from your $2,000 bucket of money, leaving you with $1,800, right? So where does this deductible come into play? Okay, it comes into play, right, when you do a basic or major service. And what you can see here is on that first service, so maybe this is January 3rd of 2022, you're going to pay the first $50 for your filling. And then after that, you're going to pay 20% because the insurance company pays the rest of it. If we're talking about crowns or implants, it is 50% after the deductible. All right. So if you've already paid the deductible once in January, you will not pay it again for yourself. Now, if you are a low utilizer, right, and you use less than $1,000 in dental work in a year that the insurance company pays for, they're actually going to roll over $600 for you for the following year. And so that means in a really bad year, you could have $2,600 to spend on under dental work. Okay. This column off to the far right is letting you know that you can go out of network. I will let you know, just like the 2 PPO plans that I talked about earlier, which do have out of network benefits, right? When you go out of network, whether we're talking about medical or dental, these are places that do not have contracts with UHC, and you will pay more in the end. All right. You can see here that even cleanings are after the deductible under the PPO dental plan. I was just about to say any questions, but there's nobody else on this meeting but me. All right. So PPO vision. The thing to keep in mind here as a quick overview is it's divided up into 3 parts: the exam, lenses, and frames. You can get exam every year. You can get lenses every year, but you can only get frames once every 2 years. It is a $10 copay for the exam. Single vision and bifocal or trifocal lenses are $25. And once you pay the $25, they will give you up to $130 to spend on frames. Now, that may not cover everything, but it is a good bucket of money to have to spend on the frames. And don't forget that you can get your prescription in one place and you can actually search somewhere else to get your lenses and frames if you have found a better deal. And what if you need contact lenses? Well, if they are elective, right? You can use your $130 towards those lenses. I don't know if that's going to go very far, but that will be up to you to determine how you use your benefit for the year. It is a PPO, so you can go in and out of network, and there's a little bit of a schedule there to let you know how much will be paid when you go out of network. So what about some of these other items, like the HSA account? Well, we already said that there's $3,650 that you can put into your individual HSA account, but that has to be tied to your HSA medical plan. It does not work with the traditional plan. Dependent care FSA. One thing to keep in mind is that if you do contribute to the HSA, it usually prevents you from contributing to the FSA as well. So keep that in mind. And this is a dependent care FSA. So just remember, this is for dependent care. Usually it's for children that are under the age of 13 or disabled adults, right, that live with you and your spouse. And so when you go to look at this, look at more of the details inside the EASE portal, or reach out and give us a call in case you're confused on what you can use this for. So I didn't want to skip over this wellness program. This is something where if you go online, we do have more information about this in the portal, but you can actually get gift cards, right, and special kinds of rewards just for filling out these online health surveys. So this money is up for grabs. I would definitely get in there and get something just by doing simple things, whether it's wellness coaching or biometric screenings or going to the gym. There's all these different things that can be your benefit. So what about ancillary benefits, right? All these additional things that you can buy. One of them is basic life and AD&D. Now, this particular benefit is not one that you have to purchase. Your employer actually covers 1 times your salary for basic life and AD&D, and that's covered for you. So you should see that in the portal. It should be represented there, and you will not see a cost for it. However, if you do need additional life insurance, right? I know we just went through a pandemic. We're not even sure whether we're in or out of that pandemic yet. This causes people to think about life insurance, right? Especially if you've had something happen to a loved one. You can definitely buy additional life insurance in the portal. I suggest it if you do not have anything else, because this is a great way to not have to worry about paying the premium because it's going to come out through your paycheck. We do have the ability to do short-term and long-term disability through the plan. Some people in the state of California may say, well, we have state disability. What do I need this for? Short-term disability is really just to make up a shortfall that is between state disability and what you actually make. And it can get you up to a maximum of $2,000 per week. So that's one of the things that you can purchase. But long-term disability, that may be more on your mind. 1 year is one thing, but what happens if this becomes something longer? You actually need a plan that is going to protect you for a longer period of time. And these plans typically protect you up until Social Security retirement age. And it is covering you for 60% of your monthly earnings up to a max of $5,000. Right? So this plan is substantially different, right, than what you get with short-term, because short-term is going to stop very quickly. But what if you needed coverage for the rest of your life up to Social Security retirement age? Well, this is the only way to do this, right? You may think that you can get this on your own, but it is a much more difficult plan to get for and pay for on your own because it tends to be more expensive even if you can actually qualify. So getting it through this employer-based plan is a much more economical way to get it. And it's typically retitled as paycheck protection because if you cannot work, this is money that's going to get paid to you. All right, so check it out in the portal. I really don't want you to miss that one. Now, there are a few other ancillary plans, hospital indemnity, accident, and critical illness. These are a little bit different than disability. Hospital indemnity is just like it sounds. If you are in the hospital, they are going to pay you a lump sum cash benefit, right, because you are confined to the hospital. That is money that is going to come directly back to you. But this is a little bit different from voluntary accident, right? The accident plan is really for things that are created because of an accident. So if you're at home and maybe you're putting up lights right now, maybe you're working in the backyard to clean it up. If you fall and hurt yourself and you end up, in the emergency room, if you look at the plan benefits, you will notice that there are copays there, and those are copays that are actually being paid to you because something has happened to you. So when you can't work and when you need to pay bills and you're not able to work because of this accident, these are the types of plans that really help you out. Critical illness is another one of those types of plans, but it is speaking specifically to things like cancer, heart attack, stroke, right? These types of items are going to be covered, under the plan and pay you a lump sum benefit. Now, if you've already had one of these items, you may have a pre-existing condition limitation. But if you are new to this plan, right, this is a great way to make sure that you have some protection. Because once again, if you are out of work due to something that's happened to you, where is money going to come from, right? Because you can't work. So these are great plans to buy into. Most of the time, you cannot buy these on your own. There is an employee assistance plan, right? This is here to help you. Maybe you can't talk to HR about some of the things that you're going through, and whether it's about stress, anxiety, depression, or maybe it's a legal issue, a parenting question. Maybe you're just actually trying to figure out a place for one of your parents to go, a special house or something like that. These are things that they can give you great advice at, and you're going to get some counseling sessions and access to counselors right off the bat. All right, you're going to need to utilize this code and go to this website. They will provide you 3 free counseling sessions with a local therapist, right, just for going through with some of this. So this is a great way to get started if you have some scenarios that you need to work out with somebody. Look, we did it. We made it to the end of this webinar, safe and sound. We didn't even have to go on a roller coaster ride. So this is a list. This is in your benefits guide. These numbers are all there for you. There are plenty of different numbers depending on what you are looking for. Of course, you should have your HR number. It's listed there. But another important number is this HMO number. If you want to change your primary care physician, that's not something that you just have to do this time of year. This is something that can be done throughout the year. So if you call them up and say, I really don't like this primary care provider, I want to go somewhere else, right? This is how you're going to do it. Depending on where you live, obviously, some people, when they're in Southern California, are talking about Cedars and UCLA. Sometimes when you're in Northern California, you're talking about, other providers that are unique, like Mercy physicians or maybe even Southern. These are all different things that you can discuss with, the HMO line to get you switched to the doctor that you actually need. So give them a call. Give us a call if you're having issues. We'll help you try and find a provider on the plan, right, to make sure you're going in the right direction. There's a number for the pharmacy department, right? There's even a number for the HMO dental department, just depending on, if you need to switch providers. Now, the most important number down here is obviously our number. I'm going to blow this up a little bit before we get out of here today. If you need to get a hold of us, this is the way to do it. Our number is 818-883-3282. This is the email address for Chuck Best. My email address is J like Jonathan, RUDNICK, and it is the same last part here at LAFINservices.com. So if you're driving right now and listening to this webinar, I don't expect you to write it down, but definitely when you get a chance to stop, you can take down the information and reach out to us. Well, I hope that I've answered, at least some of the more basic questions in this overview. We are definitely here to help you if you have any other questions. Once again, one last time, reach out to us at 818-883-3282 and let us know what's going on. For everybody else, I hope you have a great day over there, and just let us know what's going on. We will definitely catch up with you soon. I'm going to bring on my toolbar really quick, and I'm going to stop the recording, and I'm going to let you guys go.